expired. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gohmert, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Deputy Attorney General, a common theme, it seems, to many of your responses has been basically, gee, I wasn't here then, that wasn't me, I didn't personally do that, I didn't redact Judge Contreras' name from the documents so Congress couldn't see that he was friends with Peter Strzok, that was someone else. But you have added quite pointedly to Mr. Jordan that I am the Deputy Attorney General, and you certainly are. But the actions of your subordinates, which are all employees of the Department of Justice, aren't you vouching for those? Don't those people respond to you?
Those people all ultimately report to me, yes, sir.
And that would include when Bruce Orr's office was directly next to yours, I believe. Isn't that correct? And he worked for you?
He worked in the Deputy Attorney General's office. I think it was a couple of doors down, but yes.
Okay, a couple of doors down. Well, we're aware of some of the events that occurred before your confirmation as the Deputy Attorney General. However, some of your team members certainly were involved. So I want to ask, was Tashina Gohmert, your deputy, or Tricia Anderson involved in any stage of drafting, editing, or approving the 4 FISA applications to spy on Carter Page?
I wasn't sure if you were directing that question to me, but Congressman, sitting here right now, I don't know exactly who was involved in drafting what FISA application.
So just to be clear, apparently, Director Wray, you have to answer for the Deputy Attorney General about FISA applications he signed?
No, you were asking about...
Yeah, the 4 applications to spy on Carter Page. Yes. And I think you've been a bit vague on whether you even signed one of the
sir.
FISA.
Let me try to clarify for you, if I may.
Well, did you sign the 4th FISA application?
I approved the filing of a...
Okay, now you say you approved that application.
Yes,
now, that's going before a FISA...
That's my job, sir.
That's your job, okay. You approved it. Well, when you approve a FISA application, in your mind, does that mean you should read it and understand what's part of it?
You should certainly understand what's part of it, sir.
But you're parsing words, so that doesn't mean you need to read it, in your opinion. Is that correct?
It depends on the circumstances, sir, and...
well, telling you, being a former felony state judge,
yes.
If I had somebody like you come before me and now it was revealed later that the guy that signed and approved an application for a warrant had not even read the application that would allow spying on somebody, I would look at everything he signed from then on with a jaundiced eye. And I'm telling you, I was a little concerned about even...
Give me a chance to explain, sir?
Well, you have. You've said
no, I have not.
Approve it. Well,
I did approve it.
I didn't ask that question because you said you approved it, but you took out the words that you read it. And so it is my time.
Texas will suspend. I just want to make it clear to the Deputy Attorney General, you will be afforded a full opportunity to respond once his time is expired. If he wants to yield to you during that time.
My time continued to run while the chairman took up some of my time. So
you'll have that too.
And actually, I was being interrupted. I did not have a question. I was taking the words that the Deputy Attorney General himself said. So, well, let me ask you about this. You said earlier Bruce Orr was not working on the Russia investigation. Let me ask you,
to my knowledge.
To your knowledge, did you not know that Bruce Orr was meeting with Christopher Steele, getting the information about the dossier and supplying that information to the FBI at the same time his wife Nellie was working for Fusion GPS that was helping Hillary Clinton? Did you not know he was doing that for the FBI?
Correct.
You did not know that?
Correct.
Okay. So he officed a couple of doors down, but you had no idea that he was actually the go-between to get that information. So when did you find out about that?
So as I said, sir, the Inspector General is reviewing these files, and I hope I have an opportunity to explain?
Well, let me
I understand
just
why
say,
you don't-
you look at the deputy, look at the summary. Mr. Horowitz said, we did not have confidence that Strzok's decision to prioritize Russia investigation over following up on the mid-year related investigation discovered on the Wiener laptop was free from bias. Pretty clear to most of us, his bias did affect that decision, and
The time of the gentleman has expired. The Deputy Attorney General may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize. I thought you were asking me questions, sir. I completely understand your concern. And this FISA process is being reviewed by the Inspector General. If he finds some problem with it, I'll respect that. Now, we don't talk about FISAs. It's illegal for us to talk about FISAs. In this particular example, as a result of the Intelligence Committee, certain information was declassified, and so I'm comfortable talking about that. You have to understand in context, sir, that the department had made the decision to disclose the existence of a FISA to the House and Senate before I got there. Now, what I signed was what's called a renewal application. Already been approved 3 different times by a federal judge. It was signed under oath by an FBI agent who attested that it was true and correct. Now, if he was wrong, we'll hold him accountable. But let's allow the process to conclude before we jump to conclusions about that. Because I assure you, sir, I'll be just as offended as you if I find there was some incorrect information in that application.
Well, Mr. Chairman, since we've learned that he relies heavily on people that were part of his team to do these applications, I don't think we can get to the truth until we question Tashina Gahar and Tricia Anderson, and that would also include why she slow walks the notices of NSC meetings to the Attorney General when she's working for the DAG just to make him look bad. So we need to get those 2 people in here and question them.
Mr. Chairman, if I could respond, if there's any evidence of wrongdoing, sir, by anyone on my staff or anyone in the department, I would expect you to give them fair process, bring the information to my attention or the Inspector General's attention. Let's hear both sides and then let's reach the conclusion. I think what's important to understand, and I understand the FISA process is very obscure to most people, but these are essentially search warrant affidavits. A federal agent has to swear under oath that everything in that application is true. And then there are review processes within the FBI and within the department. And ultimately, the decision is made by a federal judge. There can be mistakes, and we'll find out if there are any mistakes in this one. But it's not a matter of just slapping a document and signing it. It's a very thorough process. And in that particular case, 4 different federal judges found probable cause. The Inspector General will review it, and I'll await those conclusions, sir. But I just would encourage you not to jump to any conclusions that I or anybody else did anything wrong until we have all the information.
The person